On this Christmas Eve, we welcome you to your Barbados Today Evening News Update. Thanks for joining us. Our top story. Barbados has recorded its single highest total of positive COVID-19 cases since the viral illness was detected here back in March. On Tuesday, there were 16 positive cases, and according to health officials, all cases were asymptomatic. The cases came from destinations including the United States, Canada, and the United Kingdom, and will all be assessed at Harrison's Point. The Ministry of Health, however, assures there's no need for alarm. It maintains that while numbers have been increasing over the last 2 weeks, the ministry is well able to manage these cases. The ministry also reminds the public to adhere to COVID-19 protocols, especially during holiday celebrations. There are now a total of 345 COVID-19 cases in Barbados. Scores of Barbadians flocked to the city of Bridgetown this Christmas Eve to complete their last purchases in time for the big day. The last-minute rush provided much-needed revenue for small businesses and vendors in what has been a tough year because of the COVID-19 pandemic. On Swan Street, shoppers hustled from one store to another and patronized vendors who were offering various items ranging from clothes and toys to natural juices and fresh herbs. Our news team spoke to a few vendors about the season.
I wouldn't say sales have been picking up. Sales have always been good for me. I just adjusted my strategy and it was smooth sailing for me, to be quite honest.
What's the strategy?
The strategy is just like finding out exactly what needs to be done, creating a new avenue and utilizing it.
Okay. But how has the Christmas season been now?
For me, Christmas has been fantastic. It has always been throughout the entire year. I did nothing that was a bit awkward or anything of the sort. I just maintained what I was doing, concentrate on producing quality and distributing to people on a constant basis. That's all I did.
The first couple of weeks of December, it was a bit slow and sluggish. I guess persons are just contemplating just how much they may budget for to spend for this year, just to reserve something for next month. But for these last couple of days, it has picked up. I don't know if NIS has gotten an influx of money, but people have been shopping like crazy. So we have caught a couple sales, and I must say that the gift wrapping service has become more essential now because persons don't want to have these small things to deal with when they get home. They still have the cleaning, cooking, seasoning, whatever it is that you think of, persons still have to do at home. So we are really and truly giving them a convenience with this service.
It was up and down. But I grateful. I'm being grateful, right? Yeah.
How does it compare with last year and years before?
I would say it's a lot slower though. It's a lot slower. But I contribute that to the COVID, you know. I contribute that to the COVID. Yeah.
What have people been buying more so from your store?
Well, seeing that as a fruits man, right? I just sell vegetables and things. That was the question. I had some of them job. I just show them here. But you see, like the apples, I had a few pears and plantains.
Everyone was excited to see me because I'm a person that cares for all. And when they don't have, I always accommodate, even the poor ones. So that's why when I'm at the hotels working, I always come down because I want to give back to the poor and to people and to help them out. Yeah.
How have persons been clutching their purses, or have they been spending money this year?
Yes, they have been spending and I have been blessing also. And normally if they buy something, they give them a little free gift because they can use that and bless another person with. So it's all about spreading love and joy and happiness to each other.
It was a tough Christmas for the country's fisherfolk. Several vendors at the Oystins Fisheries Complex who spoke to Barbados Today said there were too few buyers on the final shopping day. While some vendors were seen cleaning and bagging fish for sale, many were quick to say the season has been mostly slow. 2020 was a watershed year for Pan-Africanists in Barbados, and they intend to celebrate their success when they kick off Kwanzaa celebrations on December 26. General Secretary for the Caribbean Movement for Peace and Integration, David Denny, told a news conference today they will be using the week of activities to reflect on their achievements and other key issues.
The Pan-Africanists and the progressive forces in Barbados benefited from this year in terms of this year being, nice to us in the Pan-Africanist groupings because, we were successful in getting the government of Barbados to discuss and to pass a Black Lives resolution in Parliament. We was also, this year we also benefited from the June 13th march that would have called for the removal of Lord Nelson, and that would have also called for the removal of the Queen of Head of State and for Barbados to become a republic. So this year we achieved a lot from our struggles and our action, and therefore we will be recognizing these things during the period of Kwanzaa. And part of our vision for the future into 2001, coming out of our Kwanzaa program this year, would be to create the conditions for discussion among the type of republic that Barbados should look at.
There's regional and international news after this short break.
Barbados Today, news you can trust.
To regional happenings in Jamaica, samples from 20 passengers who arrived in the island this week from the United Kingdom will be sent to the Caribbean Public Health Agency for testing. The tests are expected to determine whether the new strain of COVID-19 has been detected.
Of the 302 passengers who arrived in Jamaica from the UK on Monday, 20 of them have tested positive for COVID-19. The Ministry of Health says further testing will be done to determine if any of them had contracted the new strain of the coronavirus. Starting today, the ministry says samples will be sent to the Caribbean Public Health Agency CARFA to test for the new variant. But the results may take some time, as Chief Medical Officer Dr. Jacqueline Besesa Mackenzie says there is no definite turnaround time.
We don't have a turnaround time as yet. The process may take a couple of days. Initially we would have we're sending off 14 samples because we needed to try to meet a flight tomorrow. So we had to submit those samples that we could submit early. So 14 are definitely going off tomorrow, and then the balance will be going off next week, along with some other samples that we're going to be doing some back sampling of some of the samples that we had before. We're going to pull some of those to test as well.
However, not all samples will be tested.
There will be a process, though, to determine the suitability of the samples for genetic sequencing. So not all 20 samples may eventually be tested, because there has to be a certain viral load for the sample to be suitable for genetic sequencing. So we await that to see how many of the samples are suitable, and as soon as we get any information, we will update the public.
On the international front, Britain clinched a narrow Brexit trade deal with the European Union today, just 7 days before it exits one of the world's biggest trading blocs.
It may have taken 4.5 years, but the United Kingdom finally knows how it will continue its relationship with the European Union. Negotiators signed a deal on Christmas Eve, a relief for the man who rose to power on his promises of delivering Brexit to the British people.
We've taken back control of our laws and our destiny. We've taken back control of every jot and tittle of our regulation in a way that is complete and unfettered. From January the 1st, we are outside the customs union and outside the single market.
Rather, the UK will retain access to the single market as a trusted partner without tariffs or quotas. Hammering out details over fishing rights, stability in Northern Ireland and customs went right up to the last minute, culminating in the 2,000-page agreement. However, there was little jubilation in Brussels, even as Europe welcomed the end of months of often fraught discussions.
At the end of a successful negotiations journey, I normally feel joy. But today, I only feel quite satisfaction and, frankly speaking, relief.
That's news, but for the very latest, visit our website at www.barbadostoday.bb. You can also subscribe to our e-paper, email updates, or like us on Facebook, and sign up for our breaking news alerts via WhatsApp. We're also on Izumi Media and bus terminals, as well as Screenplay at supermarkets and gas stations near you. You can also hear us on Mix 96.9 FM and Capital Media HD 99.3 FM.